Hello and good morning, everyone. Only positivity here. Ready to kick off podcast number I don't know which on this playlist that I'm looking to launch called Elevated Thoughts. So, before diving into the topic of the day, let's go ahead and start with the level set. So, as I endeavor upon pursuing knowledge and life experience in this next phase of life through fitness, photography, reading, cannabis, many more things. One habit that I've really formed is traveling. So this podcast essentially goes through some of my most recent travels, taking those lessons learned, reflections, and applying that to my life. Now, I'm trying out this new Scarlett Focusrite 2i2 with the Scarlett mic and everything like that my buddy Justin John gave me actually. So hopefully it sounds good. I was like putting my mug down here. I was like, damn, you can kind of hear that shit. So I'm not exactly sure. We'll see how it all goes, man. So it's nice because, my Rodecaster, you got to like sit down at the table and do it all. But I'm sitting on my like nice little, cozy chair here. Got my mic just with me, low key. So hoping that it all works out for me. But if not, we'll go fuck myself. Either way. But yeah, other than that, things are going really smoothly these days. Let me go and take a sip of my tea, hammy. Yeah. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm a little excited to use my mic setup here. So, pardon my annoyance and my excitement for this. But other than that, my most recent travel has been to Denver. So we'll get into that in a second. But all in all, I figured I kind of I've been doing like these little short stories recently, and those are really fun for me, honestly, just to kind of polish my cinematography skills, my storytelling skills. So for anyone who's listening, feel free to hit me with some feedback on those. Let me know what you guys think of them. If you guys have your own stories, totally open to collabing on these things. I really enjoy making these little stories, and I'm finding that every endeavor has its own how do I put it, easy activation energy points and then harder activation energy points. So for me, like writing scripts, I can do that anytime. I'm sitting there on my phone, I think of something, I'll write it down in the notes app. And the tougher part is finding subjects, right? It's fucking cold in Chicago, so getting out with my camera in the cold is like, oh my God, I got to get outside with this fucking thing. So, all in all, I'm not going to complain about that really, but it is windy as fuck today. So it's like, getting outside and bundling up in and of itself is tough. And then bringing my camera with me with my hands exposed and shit is even tougher, right? So, one of my buddies, his name's Edgar, really talented guy. He gets downtown a lot and just takes like little angles. Like the mind starts working when you're down there. So anyway, that's not here or there, but with any new journey, like you gotta be ready for all of it. That's like the main thing. You gotta be ready for the tough parts, the easy parts, and everything in between. So I'm hoping to continue to create, and for those of you who want to collab, hit me up, man. I'm always down to chat about anything really. But other than that, let's go ahead and talk about my most recent travel excursions here. Um, your boy's prescription is ready. He 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 he. Anyway, so other than that, so my most recent travels were to Denver. So my wife actually had a conference out there, and I was like, you know what, let me tag along and just enjoy the ride there. And what I've been realizing was the after coming off the trip is how important travel is to me, right? I get caught up in the day to day, high performing individuals, right? Like I work out, I read every day, I try to stretch, do like neck therapy, I try to just like go visit my friends, eat healthy. I don't know if I already said that shit, but you get so caught up in the day to day in that routine that sometimes it's like diminishing returns, right? You're like, man, I'm not gaining anything from my routine anymore. And even though I am, it's sometimes hard to pull yourself out of that. And so I try to like, travel in my mind through reading, listening to podcasts, just different, going for walks. But I found myself needing to break up the routine, and to really obtain the most from that routine. So this was a nice little getaway, my first travel excursion of the year. So, it has been really nice out here in Chicago, right? Like just above tolerable, I guess. So I I essentially was like, you know what? Let me get away for a little bit. A snowstorm hit Denver, right? So I was supposed to leave on a Thursday. My flight gets canceled, but gives me an opportunity to, spend some time alone at home, reflect, get some videos, pictures. I find that free space, that creative flow happens when I spend extended time alone or I have alone time. But then what I ended up doing after the whole day and doing some creative stuff was watching that Indriani Mukherjee documentary, which is fucking crazy. Because being a brown dude, I can put myself in that realm, right? Um, you know, like parents wanting to get rid of their children and disown them kind of because of their own journey that they never got as a kid, right? And my grandparents were those people, right? That my grandparents pretty much like disowned my mom and my uncle because they want to like pursue their clout journey, right? But all the while they didn't have their shit together as a family, but externally they looked as if they were pristine, right? And they still do, I guess. But those are just my thoughts on that. So the documentary was particularly relevant because I could kind of see where folks were coming from, and everyone's pretty. There's like all these like secret agreements in family, different pockets, overlapping pockets of drama and shit like that. So, give it a watch, my dudes. It was definitely cool. So anyway, my trip got delayed, so I ended up doing that. And then so what was nice was I was able to fly out Friday morning, and had a couple meetings in the morning, and got up super early, like around 4:30, 5 a.m. and just like attacked the day, got my shit done. So I was ready to fucking clown as I approached the airport, get the stony vibes going, head up to the airport, right? Toke up a little bit, hop on the bus right away. Everyone sees me, and they're just like, eyes are on me, and I'm just like, yeah, I probably fucking reek. But it is what it is, right? It's not illegal to smell like weed, I guess. It's just a little bit jarring, I'm assuming. But I don't think there's any other way to fly, really. So get through to the airport over at Midway, pop on through TSA pre-check because I'm rich now, apparently. I don't know. I always feel like rich when I go through pre-check, but it's dumb. It's dumb that I think that. So got through nice and easy. Got me a nice rusty sandwich over at one of the spots. And, they can get away with so much lack in quality at the airport just because it's like they monopolize it, right? People have to order that food when they're there if they're hungry. But, I'm not complaining. And then what I ended up doing was, I'm a big, like, get my steps in kind of guy. So I walked around the airport for like an hour and a half because I was so fucking early, So it was nice to get my steps in. I always get into a reflective state, right? You people watch, and all that. So it was definitely a good experience. And then, didn't really fuck with too many edibles on the way. I was watching the Fate of the Furious. I don't know why the fuck I do that to myself on the flight, but it was like just the same amount of time as the flight was. So I was like, you know what? Like by the time I finish this bullshit, I'll be there. And it was a bullshit ass movie. I don't know how they get away with all this stuff in those Fast and Furious movies. Like the first like 2 or 3 were amazing, but then like, dude, it's like, bro, you got people flying off the like in space with the cars. Like Tyrese is in space. They're like driving on the ice like all crazy, like near fucking death moments at all times. I don't know, man. It's like all these fucking actors in their midlife crisis phase just got to do over the top shit, right? But I'm not complaining, right? I guess I am complaining, but I watched the movies. I've seen all of them. I think I'll probably watch the ones going forward if they're on the flight, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to seek these movies out. But it's like a good cringy pastime for me. I don't really have to pay attention too much, right? It's just like, okay, here's another bullshit over the top scene. And anyway, so that happened. So I got out of there nice and quick. No qualms at the airport. Landed in Denver. It was sunny and nice. And even though it had snowed the day before, even though it's like 30, 40 degrees, it's like warm 30, 40. Here, like the wind kind of fucks you up big time. So I was like, man, the day is nice. I picked up my rental car. I saw some bullshit that happened at the airport, at the rental car facility. So there was a longer line, right? And there's like this white family, young family. They got two daughters that are probably like maybe like 4 and 6, right? A lot of bags, so many fucking bags. So there's a long line, so everyone's kind of getting a little bit higher strung. I'm good because I don't have any like hard timeline. I just want to get my car and get the fuck out of there. So I'm sitting in the line, and there's like one door to get out to where the cars are at, and there's this family just kind of on the way, and the mom and the two daughters are walking. The mom has like 4 big bags he's trying to roll, right? And the husband just comes back. I guess he went to the bathroom. He's like, oh, trying to be a hero, it seems. And she's like, I'm trying to help you out, and you're being a fucking asshole. And I'm sitting there, and she's blocking the door, right? The one door to get out. So I'm sitting there like, okay, cool, cool, cool. And I don't think he really meant it, but it seemed like there was already like high stress. I'm not taking sides here, right? Because I don't have the full context. And he, so she's like, you're being a fucking asshole. And he's just like sitting there like, He's like, well, go fuck yourself. And I was like, oh my God. And then he's like, you know what? He looks at me. He's like, you know what, boss, go ahead. You can go in front of us. And I'm like, you know what? Have a great day. Thank you guys so much. And I'm just sitting there like, wow. And the thing about it is I can't help but like pick on these little experiences, right? Like we were in Barcelona, and like there's this Indian family and these two daughters, right? And the guy just fucking loses it. The kids are like in their pajamas throwing shit around, and he's like, everybody get on the fucking train. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like kill me now, bro. I love kids, but sometimes I guess like it had nothing to do with the kids in this situation, but they're just like added stress, man. And I love children. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big uncle guy. I love spending time with them, but I just can't help but notice these interactions that happen, right? So it's all good. No worries. That's just some food for thought. But anyway, so I go see the rental car agent to get my car, and they're like, yo, you know what? Enjoy a free upgrade. So I rented like an economy, small ass car. They upgraded me to a Toyota Camry, right? So I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, And it's just the small things, right? Just a small like little courtesies that happen. So it was fun. It was really nice. And then, so get out, my wife's spot is like 6 minutes away from the airport. So I go find a Starbucks, and I just read for like an hour and a half, man. I've been reading The Earned Life, by Marshall something. It's all right. It's an okay book, kind of cheesy at times, really only mainly applicable to the corporate environment, which I'm not, the biggest fan of, but there were some good strategies there, right? Aligning your ambition, your aspirations and actions. So there's some, I always try to take things from shit I read. But other than that, so I sat there, and all the while there's this place called like Living Med or something next door, and it's like they're kind of positioning as a wellness center. So I'm kind of like flirting around it. I'm walking outside after I sat for a long time, just trying to get some steps in, and then just like pop in. I'm like, oh, it's a fucking dispensary, classic, because that's where I need to go, So I hop in there, and I pick up some pre-rolls, some blunts, and a couple of edibles, and then I just kind of head on my way. Wait, and then my wife gets done. I go scoop her up. And then we head over to our Airbnb, which was awesome, really nice. It was like a modern townhome in Denver. So we just like stayed there. It was like $400 for like 2 nights. So Friday, picked her up. We went back. Just kind of like chilled. I'm not trying to like go too hard, right? We're not trying to like do anything crazy hiking wise. We're just trying to enjoy our time. So we chill out, and then we get some coffee, and then we check into the Airbnb, walk around a little bit, get acquainted. And Denver's surrounded by fucking mountains, dude. So it's amazing out there. Let me get a sip of this beach. So we end up just walking around, getting some steps in. Cute dogs everywhere. Nice people. Everyone's saying hi, and then. We go get some Indian food, right? We're on vacation. Indian food's not the healthiest, but go get some chili chicken, some chicken vindaloo, some naan, some chili chicken paneer. And it was, dude, my fingers were like yellow with the oil for like a day or two after, but it was so worth it, man. Just hit the spot. We just were bonding, having good chats over dinner. And then My wife had a successful conference, man, and like we got try to celebrate all those W's, only wins around here. So I was like, you know what, you did great. You got your kudos. You put on a successful conference, and that's not easy, man. So like we're gonna celebrate all our wins. And then so we go back and we're just chilling and we watch was it it was like this new like stalker movie that was on um Netflix. I forget the name of it, but it was a good movie. It was a little unbelievable at times, but I think any spectacle is great. Good to see that it started off really strong, and it had those like A24 vibes. Really made you feel what the person being stalked was feeling. Um, and I forget the name of that thing, but it's one of the top movies right now on Netflix. So that was dope. Then we knocked out, took a couple edibles, just picked up these rosin edibles, which I feel like they kick in faster, which was nice. Just passed out, dude, and went to sleep. We got up in the morning and got some breakfast. This spot called the Breadwinner Cafe, nice low key diner vibe, dude. I love brunch. Got me like it was called a cinnamon nut latte, which doesn't seem so appealing, right? I didn't like the title there. Um, but it was awesome. It was kind of like a Hispanic latte. I've gotten like a Mexican latte before with like cinnamon in it, and it's really nice. I'm about that life. So I got a little skillet, everything a big boy needs for a day of activity. So we got that, and it was St. Patrick's Day actually on Saturday, but it doesn't seem like it was where we were. There was like major celebration. There's people like definitely in their St. Patty's gear, but we didn't really get affected by any traffic or anything like that. In fact, it might have been in our favor because, what we went for another walk. It was really nice. The sun was out and all the snow was melting, so you could hear water like falling everywhere. Saw a bunch of cute ass dogs. Went for a little walk around this lake. All the while the mountains are in the back. We're reflecting, chatting. That's like my favorite thing to do. Just get out with people and reflect and chat and catch up on life direction and things like that. And then we went to then we drove over to this place called Edis Park. Dude, I keep fucking that name up, but it's like past Boulder. It's very close to the Rocky Mountain entrance, and it's about an hour and a half away from where we were at. So we had reservations at night, so we were like, let's just go for a drive. And I had done this drive many years ago when I was visiting one of my friends out in Boulder. So we drove through Boulder. You have to drive through Boulder, and it's just a beautiful scene. There's this one part when you're driving from Denver to Boulder where you're coming over this hill on the highway, and as you come to the bottom of that hill, the mountains just appear over the horizon, and they were snow-covered mountains. Coming from Chicago, where we don't have that, it's just absolutely majestic. So I made that drive a few times now. I've been to Denver and Boulder like 3 times, so it's familiar, but every time is like kind of like the first time. And then we drive into Boulder, get some coffee. Get me a hazelnut latte. You know how I fucking do things. And it's nice. Boulder is a spot where I feel like there's a lot of young people there because the university's there, and there's a lot of unique little shops and things. And I always like try to put myself in the scene. Like, dude, what if I was just like a dude who worked in Boulder, and I worked at a coffee shop? Maybe I was taking classes at the university. And it was just really, it's really wholesome to put myself in those situations. Like, just a thing that everybody's out here just trying to like make sense of this world, right? Everyone's out here just trying to make a living. Even the guys that are waiters at the Indian restaurant the night before, it's like, how did you guys end up in Denver? It's just so interesting, and things of that sort. So I really enjoy the things that I get into on these trips and the different conversations. So here we find ourselves. But other than that, we make the drive out there, and we finally get there, get some coffee, we hit a Starbucks up, and it's in the mountains with this beautiful ass view, what do you call? So hold on one second. My wifey is calling me. All right. We are back. You know how it is when wifey needs things. Anywho, so yeah, we drove up. I think it's called Estes Park. We drove from Denver up there, so it's like an hour and a half, which is not bad, if you don't mind driving. But like I said, just the snow on the mountains was majestic, and just like the landscape was amazing. There was a lot of scenic overlooks on the way. And it's like once you get out of the main cities and you're like not as much surrounded by buildings. You're not surrounded by buildings as much. Whatever the fuck, dude. You know what I'm trying to say. Um, you can start to get into good headspace and reflective headspace and start talking about things. And I'm a big proponent of talking about like my feelings and getting that all of that out and understanding like life direction and strategizing. And just you refind optimism and you refind like your love in the little things, and just excited to come back and make little short films and be creative and explore the world more. And I just find that like that's a good purpose for me to have. It's just to explore like everything that the world has to offer, put myself in situations where I can put my best foot forward, meet people, and if I have questions in life, answer them by connecting with others. So it was nice. And then we came back and from that drive, and it was awesome. You could tell we were a little tired out, but really beautiful time. We came back and rocked a little nap, showered up, and then went back to Boulder actually to go to the Dushanbe Tea House, and that's a really cool spot. They actually have imported all of the pieces of that building from the Middle East, and they have really good food, really good tea cocktails. I got me like a masala rosé kind of thing. It was really nice. The service was a little shitty this time. Our waiter kept forgetting about us, but that's okay. It's all good. We got our food, we got everything we needed to, and we got out of there. But it was funny because they sat us next to these two guys. One was probably older, maybe in his 60s, late 50s. Another one was probably in his 40s, and they were just, one of the older guy, was like alone, didn't have a spouse, and he was kind of like venting about that, and the younger guy was saying a lot of weird little statements like, it's like, he was like, it's like, would you tell your wife, not to masturbate? And I'm sitting there like, this is an interesting conversation. So, my wife actually didn't talk much. We were just kind of like listening in, eavesdropping. But you could tell the younger guy was trying to validate this older guy for his bullshit in life. And it was all validation, which is good. I think we should validate one another, right? But, what I was hearing was like, it's just okay for him to like kind of be an asshole, right? And this guy was kind of a dick. He was, like I said, the service wasn't good, but he was like bitching at our waitress, and I get it, right? If she's not bringing his shit on time, she's forgetting things. It warrants that. But he was a little bit aggressive with her, I'll say. And he was just talking about how like his ex-wife, didn't really, he was mean to his ex-wife and she left him and all these things. And, the younger guy's just trying to validate him. And I get it, right? It's like, I'm not trying to open up like this fucking can of worms here, and tell you that you're shitty, and you are kind of the victim of your own problems. And I'm overgeneralizing. I don't know these guys, but like this dude's demeanor was so fucking aggressive. I was like, relax. But anyway, that's just my little take on the situation. I love fucking eavesdropping on that type of stuff. But other than that, we get back, and drive back to the Airbnb. We're watching Somebody Feed Phil. He got that new season that came out, so checking that out, which was really nice. And then the next day, we just check out of our Airbnb, head over to the, I guess we smoke a little blunt in the morning, head over to the airport, and we're on our way. Smooth flight home. We saw a bunch of people we knew coming back from a wedding at Midway, which was funny because like I'm stoned, man. I'm just like, oh, what's up? Hop on the bus, get in the car, drive back home, right? Get some food for the night and just kind of unwind. But one thing I was proud of us for was we both got home and we just dropped our bags off and went to the gym and worked out. We didn't really do too much damage, but I was like, yo, let's get some work in, let's get our sweat on, and then we can chill tonight. And that's exactly what we did. So I was, I was glad that we were on the same page about that. We were able to motivate each other, and a great way to taper off the evening, So, it's Tuesday now. We got back a couple days ago, and, I've been wanting to make sure I get these podcasts down. I dropped the ball a little bit in 2023, but just want to make sure I'm recording these because, at the end of the year, I do a lot of reflecting. And I was listening to a lot of our old podcasts that I have on traveling and just in general. And I was like, man, this is cool, just like getting down these memories this way. And I was really excited about that. So anywho, that's what it is. And that kind of wraps up the travel, If you guys are thinking about getting out there, just go ahead and do it. It's really fun. You learn a lot, once you get past the the tiredness and things like that of traveling. It can open up a lot of doors for you mentally, physically, emotionally. So keep on hustling, fam. I just fucking spilled a bunch of tea all over myself, so I'm gonna go fucking take care of that, and then we'll catch up soon. But other than that, hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Feel free to leave me any feedback, and remember, only positivity. Thanks, guys.